Guys, Bridget here. In this video we're going to recreate this website design from this really awesome UI kit which I recently found on UI8 called Astro Clash, and I'm going to leave the link in the description if you want to have a look at it. And we are going to focus on this main page. So without further ado, let's jump right into Figma and we're going to get started with this. So as the very first step, we're going to create a frame which is going to be desktop, since we're going to have the 40 pixel of width, which is a great place to start for a web design. Now at this point, we're going to add a layout grid, and we're going to change it to columns, and specifically to 12 columns, so that we can have quite a bit of wiggle room as we are developing it. And we're also going to insert some margin in order to have some white space on the sides. So after that, we're going to change the color of this grid, since I don't like to work with a grid which is very prominent. It kind of like distracts from the design. So what I like to do is to add this blue tint, which is very light, and overall I think it's looking great. So as we see in the original, what we have at the start is basically a hamburger menu on the top left hand side. So we're going to pretty much replicate that, which is not the most common UX pattern. Usually the menus are on the right, but occasionally you also find them on the left, so that's totally fine. We're going to use this software, which is an icon management app called Nucleo, and it's really cool because it allows you to simply search for icons, and then you can literally drag and drop them into Figma. So this is really a game changer compared to finding it on the web, downloading it, and adding them all the time. So yeah, really useful. I'm going to add this hamburger menu, which is going to stand approximately right here, so in the middle between this side and this side. And now we're going to add the main button, so which is going to say play now. And let's make this one semi-bold, and in this case we're going to use SF Pro display, which is Apple's font. So I'm not sure if that is the original from the UI kit, but we're going to just try and come as close as we can with the general style and vibes. So this is going to be totally fine. And let's add a rectangle right here. Let's bring it below, and here we go. All right, at this point, let's make it white, and we're going to add a stroke on the side and add a little bit of roundedness so that it looks pretty nice and user-friendly overall. So let's make this one in light gray, and probably let's give it 1.5 of stroke, so it looks better overall. Alright, at this point, actually I think I'm gonna change my mind. I'm simply going to put the hamburger menu right here. For some reason it didn't really felt right to have it on the side, so we can change these things on the go, as you can see easily. So let's select the play now text. We're going to duplicate it, and we're going to make it quite a bit more prominent. Just before we do that, let's write the actual text, Lactic battle, and we are going to bring it here, duplicate it, since we're gonna need it in a moment, and we're going to increase the font size significantly so that it really stands out. So someone that just lands on the website, he's going to see this text very clearly. So that's important, and we're going to write the other text here. So play to earn NFT marketplace, And here we have our, we're going to add just a little bit of font size to this one as well. Maybe this one, we're going to increase the font size even more, so that it goes like this. Maybe make it bold. And let's round it up so that it's perfectly 88. And yeah, that'll do. Alright, at this point, what we need is the second button. So I'm going to duplicate this one, since we already have a base for this button. I'm simply going to increase the size and change the text to get a character. And we're going to use the auto width. And usually what I like to do is to also use the auto layout and components for these type of elements. Really depends on the project, really. Like some clients don't really like the auto layout for some reason, and other ones love it. So really depends on who you're working with within the team. But my recommendation is to have a strong understanding of these features in Figma, so that you can always like switch and use them whenever or they are needed. So here we have the base of this, and we're going to also add this section, which is going to be significantly smaller in text. So it's 0.1. We're going to have all the way here to 0.3. We're going to use a line to connect these two. And actually, let's make it smaller so it doesn't stand out as much visually. Probably let's make this one a little bit lighter, just like that. Alright, at this point what we need will be the logo and the imagery. Of course, we don't have the originals from the UI kit, and so I want you to actually take it from here and use your imagination. And here's what I would do if I don't have access to those same assets. I would actually go on a site like vecteezy.com, which is really cool to find vector files. You can also go on another site called freepik.com, which is really cool. But Vecteezy in particular, their icons and 3D illustrations, I noticed recently they really have some cool stuff, and quite a few of these are also free. So you can definitely leverage these. Like for example, this one is a pro version, but you can easily like leverage these and even like the free versions, and just try and recreate something which is as close as possible as you can. And in this case, what we're gonna do is we're going to use this filter free license, and we're going to have a look around and try to find something which might look cool in this specific instance. But granted, the illustration really makes up a lot of that web design, since it's so prominent, and the quality of that 3D illustration really made in like most part of the layout. You can mess up the typography a bit and the colors, still gonna look great with something of this level of quality. So definitely keep that in mind. Also with these the icons going outside. And I'm probably going to go on the first page because not really finding anything which is even close to what I would expect. Maybe we can go with something around these lines. Let's download this. All right, and as you can see, I'm just going to bring myself on the right. Let's add this one here, and we have our own version of this landing page. Now there's a bunch of other things that you can do in order to make this more interesting. You can add like some abstract objects on the side and whatnot, But this is the base, and also we need like to create the logo here on top, but that would take an entire video in and of itself. So I really hope this video was helpful. If you liked it, please leave a thumbs up. And if you want to access the original UI kit and leverage the original assets, feel free to check it out in the link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.